Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wally DM. With the recent release of Mythic Odysseys of Theros, I thought it'd be a fun exercise to introduce a couple of new spells that are Theros themed. So on today's episode, I'm going to be joined by Zuby from the Magic with Zuby podcast, and we're going to convert two Theros themed Magic the Gathering cards to DnD Spells. Here's our next episode of MTG to D&D. Just a reminder, if you have not joined our Discord yet, I highly encourage you to do so. Come on over and hang out with me and folks that know a lot about D&D. And if you like the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button and pick up my brand new puzzle book, Wally DM's Journal of Puzzle Encounters, available now on DriveThruRPG. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started today, MTG to D&D, and we're going to look at some Theros cards and convert them into spells. And of course, as previously mentioned, I have Zuby here to help me out.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me on.
And we appreciate you being here. And he has brought a card to the table, or should I say a D&D spell. And real quick, Zuby, give everyone a quick introduction to yourself. What do you do in MTG and D&D?
So my name is Zuby. I have been doing a Magic the Gathering podcast for over 4 years now called Magic with Zuby. And I also do another podcast that just started this year called Magic for Normies with my friend Pixie Kitten. And I also stream Magic as well on twitch.tv/Magic with Zuby. Do a lot of paper Magic on there. And I also play quite a bit of D&D, almost at least one time a week. I'm playing D&D.
Awesome. And that's definitely why you're here, because now you're going to take MTG, you're going to take D&D, and we're going to mash them together and have some fun. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Our first spell, go ahead and tell us what card it is and tell us about the spell.
The card is God's Willing. It was originally printed in the Theros block. I made this into a 6-level abjuration spell with a casting time of 1 reaction. When you or a creature within 30 feet of you takes radiant, lightning, necrotic, fire, poison, cold, or thunder damage. It has a range of 30 feet, and the components are somatic. The duration is only 1 round, and the classes that can do it are Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard. So the actual spell, what it does is the grace of the gods shine upon you when you or a creature of your choice within 30 feet of you takes damage from the above damage type in the casting time. This spell grants immunity to the triggering spell damage type to you or a creature of your choice within 30 feet of you until the start of your next turn.
Dang, that sounds awesome. So,
yes,
looking at the Magic card, how did you come up with this idea? What inspired you from the Magic card to create this spell?
So this is actually a really good card in Magic, especially in limited formats like Draft or Sealed. So the actual card itself is a 1 white instant where target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Scry 1. So I really wanted to try to create an effect that would protect, a creature, one of your players or yourself from a triggering spell damage. But I didn't want to make the spell too low because that would just be way too good. So I figured 6 levels seemed to be about the right level for it because it's not too high and it's not too low. And I feel like it's just in the right place.
Yeah, I agree. And reaction spells are like one of my favorites as well. So that immediately caught my eye. I love being able to use a reaction to cast a spell. It's like getting 3 different spell slots: bonus action, regular action, reaction. So,
yep. And it's one of those, save your butt type spells. So let's say you're up against that ancient red dragon. It does that fire breath and it's about to kill you because you're only down to 10 hit points, right? And so, boom, you cast God's Willing and nope, I'm not dead yet for this turn at least.
Definitely awesome spell to have in your arsenal, and your party is really going to thank you as well too. So
yes, so that was God's Willing. Wally, what about you? What did you come up with?
So for me, I went with a card from Born of the Gods called Crypsis. Now, this is going to be a first level abjuration spell that's going to take a casting time of 1 action. It's got a range of 30 feet with a verbal and a somatic component. And for the caster, it's going to last for 1 minute and is going to be with concentration. Now, I figured this would be a very good druid or ranger spell, and it's going to be very similar to Pass Without a Trace, which is a second level druid spell. And pretty much what it does is a single target gains a magical camouflage, allowing them to blend into their surroundings to avoid observation or detection. Until the end of the duration, the target gains a +10 to stealth checks and can use their bonus action to hide.
Ooh, I like that. That's sort of a good way to give those non-rogues and non-monks a sort of cunning action to hide, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely sneak attack was an inspiration for that as well. But just maybe giving somebody that's wounded a chance to try to sneak away, where they can use their action to disengage. They can then use their bonus action to try to hide and just get away from those. So.
No, I like that because, as we all know, especially with first level spells being level 1, level 2, it just takes 1 hit to die sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta commend you on your choice of card as well too. It was a card from Born of the Gods, and that only really saw play in limited and draft or sealed, and that was a card. Your opponent swings all in to try to kill you, and boom, you cast that as an instant, and nope, all your creatures have protection now.
And you get to untap that creature too. So that was,
which is
that was
great.
Always good. Yeah. So with Crypsis, I read the flavor text on this. It says Tritons borrow the camouflage of their oceanic prey to become predators on land. And it kind of got my curiosity going. So I looked up the definition of it. Crypsis means for an animal to avoid observation or detection by other animals. Now, this could be to hide from predators, or this could be for a predator to find somebody. So with that, yeah. So with that right there, I was just like, oh, immediately I've got to include the hide action somehow. And the best way to do that's with stealth. So I had a lot of fun coming up with a way to transfer this from MTG to D&D. So that's all we have for you today. Those are 2 Theros cards, or at least from the Theros blocks of Magic the Gathering. And I hope you find these spells as something that you can use in your game. And if you'd like to see the printed version of them, you can check them out on my website. In fact, they are on the wiki portion of the website, wallydm.com. I will put a link in the description below. So once again, I want to thank Zuby for joining us today. Tell us again where they can find you at on the internets.
All right, sure. Well, thank you again for having me on. You can find me on my podcast, Magic with Zuby and Magic for Normies, on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify. And you can find me on Twitter at Magic with Zuby, on Instagram at Magic_with_Zuby. And you can find me on twitch.tv/Magic with Zuby as well. Thank you again this was fun, a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I love creating spells, and the fact that they're from Magic the Gathering cards is just amazing. And Zuby's card too, God's Willing, is also going to be on the website there. So if you want to go check it out, definitely do that. Leave a comment on there. Let us know what you think of those. And with that being said, also, if there are any changes that you would make to these spells, would you make them a little bit more powerful, a little less powerful? Would you lower the level? What would you change about these before you would use them in your game? And if you're a dungeon master, would you allow your players to use these? Let us know in the comments below. So that was a lot of fun. Zuby, do you want to do this again? Maybe I feel like we should do this one more time.
Yeah, I think so. God's Willing was a lot of fun, and I had a blast trying to come up with it.
Awesome. So let's do another Theros edition, and you could probably see that very soon. So stay tuned. So that's all we have for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and on to the next.